Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. At least if YouTube ever gets around to actually starting to air this, because it seems that we've got quite a delay today.
Oh, yeah.
And I apologize. StreamYards must have gone through some kind of update because it will not let me use my camera.
What the hell?
Oh, that's wrong. You know what? Apple just recently had an update. Did you update your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have screwed it over.
Well, that's why I updated it, because it was doing that. I thought maybe the Apple update would fix it.
Oh.
Yeah, StreamYards never gets mobile devices right, so.
Move beef. Oh, well, that reminds me. Thank you. I need to get a cup of coffee.
Oh, that was part of getting my shit together in a half an hour.
I don't quite see the connection. Is coffee the only thing that makes you a mobile device?
It's the only thing that makes me mobile. And upright.
There we go.
So anyway, I found this one interesting. I actually found a listing that said today is National Inconvenience Yourself Day.
Hey.
Have a child. Have a child.
Yeah, well, it is unfortunately very topical because, that's the whole thing about wearing a mask is it's a small inconvenience to yourself to help protect everyone else around you.
All right. I'm a little bit ornery because I just woke up. It really chaps my hide. This whole mask argument in the first place. Do you know how many other inconveniences that we do just in America? Like, there's people that come to our country and are like, wow, you guys do a lot of extra things. So take the damn shot. Wear a mask.
I have to admit, I absolutely hate the fucking mask. I am so fucking sick of it. I fucking hate it. I can't wait to fucking throw it in the trash. But I tell you what, I do it anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
I've been wearing the mask the whole fucking time. I'm the only one around me who wears a fucking mask. Everybody thinks I'm weird because I wear a mask. Fuck them.
well, and it's the price you pay for living in a society. You have to do minor things like this, and in exchange, you get things like there are paved roads that they've even cleared the snow off of when I go out there.
Yeah, no shit.
That's like
It's not for me.
We live in good country.
I couldn't give a shit if I get COVID or not. It's likely I've had it and just been asymptomatic. So like I suspect either that'll happen or hey, worst comes to worst, it'll kill me. I don't give a shit. But if it affects others, that's the deal, and especially if I can be infecting people and not get a single symptom myself, that's what's important. So I don't do it. I don't do it for myself at all. I don't.
Well, especially when you're in a position that you're dealing with people who are traveling to other states, so it's being spread far and wide.
Yeah, and guess who never wears masks?
Yeah,
Those people, of course.
It's the it can't happen to me kind of attitude.
Yeah.
I could name, people like that. We're like that with HIV, with all the different influenzas we have. They're like, oh, I can't get it. I'm not one of those people,
Okay.
And that's what makes it so much fun when they do get it.
I skipped over the introduction, so I need to say hi to the people in the side chat there. I see Nerdy Rodent, Greg Hartwick, and Commander 401, and Slim.
Yay!
Hi, kids.
And Nerdy, I would like whatever you're smoking. I love your art.
Nerdy, how do you fucking do that?
Awesome.
What the hell application does that? I want to know.
It makes me feel like I'm on shrooms again or acid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. Whoever invented that had a trip and remembered it.
I want them to put that application on a chip and implant it in my brain.
Yeah, it's called acid.
That's too expensive. What is acid hit
How much
nowadays?
they want for that?
Oh,
now?
it's still cheap. It's like $5 a hit.
Oh, okay. That hasn't gone up much at all.
No, it's supply and demand, but it's like $5. Hey, you go to a rave or a party, you can get it super cheap and be up for a couple days.
But is it the real stuff?
I haven't touched a major drug in over, oh wow, it makes me feel like an adult saying this, in like 19, 20 years. So I wouldn't know. Actually, no, I lost my mind on shrooms before September 11th. So that was 20 years ago. But I hear that acid is still around.
Yeah, but is it spiked?
Not like heroin, not like heroin is, where nowadays when people take heroin,
Acid is not typically spiked because would be so hard to do that. The amount of acid you take to get off is 100, 200 micrograms. Okay, that's why it's in a window pane. That's like an eighth of an inch square.
Yep.
There's not many drugs you can put into that much space that's going to have any kind of effect on you other than acid.
Yeah, because if you eat, like, to get that effect with mushrooms, you'd have to eat a half an eighth to a full eighth of mushrooms. And you're consuming a lot of mushrooms at that point.
Well, I just ate about a quarter pound of mushrooms. They just weren't the right kind.
So true story, because I lost my mind on mushrooms. Every time I even smell a normal mushroom, portobello, or anything, my brain is like, nope.
Yeah. Honestly, when I was living in Michigan, if I had known how to identify them, because when I was doing the landscaping, I would find dozens of different varieties along the fringe of the forest.
Gold caps will make you rich here in California. You find the one.
Well, and I know there was some kind there, that people used for cooking. That if you could identify the right ones, they were worth like $600 a pound.
It's like truffles too.
Wow.
Well, morels can get an awful lot a pound. People guard their morel patches with their lives. People will shoot you for tearing up their morel patch.
Well,
even though it's on public land.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I live around a lot of farmland, and if you go wandering on the wrong property, they will shoot you.
Yeah, well, that's most of the stuff around where I was living in Michigan was part of the national forest.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we got a bigger audience yet?
James came in.
I want.
It says we've got 11 people watching, so there's half dozen people lurking that haven't chimed in yet.
That's more than I get.
I have some things that I really need to bring up. That's going to be a major downer, but we still got to talk about it because it's life and death.
Well, go right ahead.
Is that okay, folks?
The cat agreed.
If it's important to you, go ahead.
All right.
What's on your mind?
There's a couple of elements here that I got to describe and explain, and then we'll try to tie it all together. So please be patient and let me ramble. It'll all make sense in the end. The state of Georgia. No, I don't want to start there. Roe versus Wade. Okay. Now, this discussion is not about abortion, but Roe versus Wade. Why do we have the right to abortion? Because the judges said, oh, it's okay for you to get an abortion? No. You can get an abortion because the courts decided that it's your right of privacy.
Yes, that's
to
true.
do that if you so choose.
Yes.
And the government cannot intrude on your right of privacy. Very important. Now, if you go into the Constitution, you will not find the word privacy mentioned anywhere. Okay? It is an implied right. Okay? That has gone so far in so many cases to the Supreme Court and other high courts that it is just it is an accepted part of law. Okay. That's one tidbit. Oh, I feel like CC. I'm sorry. Next tidbit. The state of Georgia, being the authoritarian Nazi regime that it is, has decided that they are going to try to go after a number of laws and things that balance on the definition and usage of the concept of privacy. Okay. Now I'm forgetting because it's all new information to me and it's just not integrated well yet. They're going after. Well, it has to do with trans people, okay, and LGBT and all that kind of stuff. They've decided that basically the government has a right to patrol and regulate your bedroom. That you do not have a right to privacy in your bedroom. That they can put you in jail, prosecute you and put you in jail for what goes on in your bedroom.
So you can do whatever you want in the kitchen, but the bedroom.
Well, you know, we use the bedroom, but we mean sex.
Okay, so this is a really old argument, and it's kind of dated. So let me hold on. Let me dust off my question. I haven't asked this question in 20 years. How are they going to regulate that? How can you?
We'll get to that. Okay, that's an extremely valid question, of course, but we'll get to that. There's more tidbits.
It's an old one.
Okay. Yes, it is. It is ancient. In fact, it is the concept that was pounded down and into the dirt to get rid of all the sodomy laws and all this other crap that the government has no business in your goddamn bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, the right to privacy. Now, this is really happening in Georgia. They have their power in the legislature. They have their power in the governor's house. They can and will soon pass these laws that will make what you do in your bedroom illegal, and we're going to come get you. Okay, how will they do that? I don't know. Okay, and nobody ever knew the answer to that. But nonetheless, somebody could say report you for doing something kinky, and they would get a grounds or have grounds to get a warrant to inspect, and then they could nail you. You know, put in some listening devices or cameras or whatever. You know, they can do that kind of stuff. If you want
to put a camera in my house to, I don't even want to say it. I was going to say something really inappropriate.
Yeah, don't say that. I know what you're going to say.
You want to put a camera in my house to catch a Remy? Good for you. I'll charge you. I'll get only sewings, only fans.
Okay, now more tidbits.
Fuck off.
Yesterday, I don't know if it was yesterday, actually. I forgot to read the date. Governor Greg Abbott, or actually, I'm sorry, Governor, that's wrong. Der Führer Greg Abbott of Naziland, Texas, wrote a little letter to the Department of Child Protective Services and ordered them, executive order, which governors have the power to do, just like the president, executive order that they will now investigate, arrest, and prosecute any parent that is treating their child for transgender issues.
I saw that this morning. This sucks ass.
The child will be taken into custody and basically put into a re-education camp and treated for however long it takes to make them non-trans, which of course we all know is impossible. So that means there's no guarantee that the child will ever be released.
Okay, again, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but this is, they did this to Native American children. That's why Native Americans are no longer dark. They did this to indigenous children. This is nothing new. New.
You're right. But it all balances on the right to privacy. And if this, and you know what Abbott's doing is clearly unconstitutional, and it will be found that to be that at some point. But until that time, there's going to be a whole lot of fucked up families, okay, because of the state. Now, because the Georgia is doing what they're doing, they too will be challenged, and it will too go to federal court. With who we have in the courts right now, at all levels, there is no saying that they will win, that they will lose, that we will win for our rights to privacy.
Yeah.
We are turning very, very rapidly into an authoritarian dictatorship.
Oh, we're already
on the behalf of the conservatives, and we have got to revolt.
It's not just the conservatives, though. I live in lefty paradise, and it's a hellhole here. our infrastructure is falling apart. Our politicians have become dictators.
The big problem with our system that they keep exploiting is that, how many people will be crushed by the new law before it affects someone who actually has the resources to take it to court and fight it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you can be assured that the ACLU is going to go after this. The ACLU has trans people who are lawyers. The guy who took the 2015 marriage bill to the Supreme Court was trans. So, and there's others. So that they're definitely going to check into this.
Well, yeah, in this specific instance, that's great. But there's so many of these laws that they pass, even knowing that they will be struck down when they're taken to court. But it can still screw people up for decades before anybody can take it to
I also
court.
forgot the physicians who treat these kids are also subject to prosecution.
Yeah. And
Okay. This is all factual. This is not some red herring that was dreamed up by some crazy person in their kitchen. This is all happening, written down in the courts, in the law, now.
What I read this morning was that there are specialists who are not moving to Georgia because they fear prosecution under these edicts.
Oh, sure. I would expect.
Yeah.
I would expect. And
already affecting.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's already affecting. Full stop.
What's critical to this is that you cis people out there, even if you're like a fake cis person or I should say, if not you're a real cis person, but you're a fake ally of the trans community and the LGBT community, understand that this is a slippery slope, which means if they want to apply it to this and they're successful, they can apply it to anything they fucking want.
Yeah, so when you get a blowjob from a hooker, they're going to kill your credit score. It's next. I'm turning into China.
Yeah.
Okay. You are subject to the pains of this law as much as a trans person is. It's just hasn't come your turn yet.
It's all about them legislating morality.
Yes.
And people think that, it's fine. They're pushing through Christian morality, and this is a good thing. But once they get Christian morality, they're going to narrow it down to their specific church. So if you happen to be
that's the tragedy.
You're Baptist, you're going to get screwed.
That's the tragedy. True Christian theology and rhetoric does not take into account anything about sexuality. Nothing. It does in the Old Testament, but that's not Christian.
Mormons, you can go to jail for soaking. You're officially on my side, Mormons.
For soaking?
You don't know about that one yet.
You don't know.
Stick it in and don't move it.
Oh, please tell me.
No, you stick it in and don't move it.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't count as sex to the Mormons unless the penis is moving.
Yeah, well, and there's a next level to that.
No.
To avoid moving it yourself, you have a friend jump on the bed. Because then you're not moving it, so you're still innocent.
I'm just imagining this going on in the Osmond family,
Yes. And I swear I was told about this from an ex-Mormon.
Oh my God.
That doesn't work. I live in a Mormon town and they outnumber us 10-1.
Well, I want to sum up my tidbits and conclusions here. Understand, folks, cis folks, cis people are gay and cis people are straight. Okay. Cis means that you're not trans. It doesn't mean that you're not gay or not straight. You're all cis people if you're not trans. Anyways.
Yep.
All cis people need to understand that the next target is everybody in the LGB community.
Of course. Yeah.
They have stated that. They have begun certain laws to remove the right of marriage from the books. They're trying to take that away from you. The time to do something is now. We need to literally be out in the streets, demonstrating, screaming, yelling, doing whatever we have to do in I'm not going to say the word I want to say, to include what we do, but I can't say it. Maybe you can imagine. We cannot sit back and wait for somebody else to deal with this for us. This has to be en masse, and the right wing being shown very clearly that 75% plus Americans believe in the right to privacy, believe in allowing people to live their gay or trans lives, and do not put up with this kind of crap.
Also, but what about the amosexuals as well? Their whole stance is privacy, so they can run around with their AR-15 as their fake penis.
Well, it's the discretion of prosecution is the discretion of the government.
Yeah, that's where
as long as the NRA is paying money, nobody's going to prosecute them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're right. It is a slippery slope.
Well, so people talk about that.
What the Republicans keep doing is that most of the legislation they're pushing, the majority of people oppose it if they understand the issue.
Yeah.
But the Republican legislators push it through by using, emotionally charged buzzwords, and people don't really look at what the issue is, so they get all fired up emotionally about something that they don't realize they're shooting themselves in the foot by allowing it.
Guys, I have to check out for a minute. I have got to go get a coffee and a bathroom.
Okay. That's why I posted that thing yesterday about propaganda on Twitter. Because we feed more propaganda to ourselves than anything else, It starts with us. It's like, what do you choose to accept and not accept?
I know everybody gives me a hard time for being a cynic and everything else, but as far as the time to do anything, there we go. That's better. Thank you. The time to do anything was 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
And even that was a little bit late.
Well, yeah, I agree with that stuff like this, a lot of this could have been dealt with in the 80s, and it's great to say, yeah, it should have been done 20 or 30, 50 years ago, but the fact is it wasn't. We've got to deal with the world we've got today.
to deal with it now, and unfortunately, that means that whatever we have to do is going to be viewed as rather extreme. And it may have to be rather extreme. Don't quote me on that one, but what can I tell you? The longer we wait, the more extreme we are going to have to be to right the ship.
Yeah.
Look how conservative America has become just in the past 30 years.
Yes, absolutely.
We were not like this. In 1991, 1989, we were not like this.
Absolutely.
What we really need...
We're back in the 70s, for example.
Yeah.
What we really need is the concept of the Rainbow Coalition. That we started to make some progress on that, and we've kind of lost it. The Republicans are very good on the divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's because Jesse had
we need to make allies. We need to have different minority communities coming together saying, you watch my back, I'll watch yours.
The Rainbow Coalition was awesome, but then Jesse Jackson had 14 illegitimate children, and it was just
that's scandal. Why I said we need the concept of it, not the way it was executed.
Well, that's the bad thing, though. You've kind of brought up a point where Jesse Jackson had, over a dozen illegitimate kids, and they dropped the whole idea of the Rainbow Coalition, but the Republicans can do whatever the hell they want and get away with all of it because they have that single-minded thing going on where the Christian Republicans want a theocracy, and they will take whatever any of their people do to get that Christian. They'll take a Donald Trump. They'll take a who else was allied with Jeffrey Epstein? All that shit. They, as long as they get what they want, that little thing, everything else is fine. But the other side, the lefties aren't like that. They'll drop you for the smallest thing, and that tends to shatter us.
Yeah, we do cancel each other.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. They are painfully loyal.
Yeah, that is a valid point. That on the left, we need to deal better with the idea that, okay, I agree with you on 6 things, I disagree with you on 2 things, but we still have to work together.
Mm-hmm.
That's don't even get this. The second you said legislate morality, hi Slim, how you doing? It brought me to Babylon 5. And if we all stood together, we wouldn't have these problems. But we're all distracted by our own little subculture, by what's going on in our life, not realizing that the bigger picture is like America's broke. We are slipping into a dictatorship slowly. And there are ways to stop it, but people are too busy hating and fighting each other. I know.
Divide and conquer.
It works. It works. Like, quite
That's
honestly,
what the elite wants. They want us fighting these vain personality wars.
I'm extremely.
Hey,
I'm
look who's
indifferent.
over
I'm indifferent. Like, if someone says something, I'll talk shit to them and then move on. I'm not going to dwell on it or hate them or pick up a gun and go after them or anything. You know.
there. Uh-huh.
People have become so myopic and so angry that we don't see beyond our nose anymore.
Well, you know, and it is a hard thing to do, that when somebody you've generally supported, you find out they did something that you find, you know, appalling, that, you know, how do you deal with that, you know, how do you support that, okay, this person did a lot of good things and one horrible thing, so do we still want to work with them?
I don't, you know what? I obsessively listen to Marty Robbins. He would not have wanted to hang out with me. I love John Wayne. We do not have the same political views. I listen to a lot of rap that is so homophobic it makes me cringe sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, if you want to have an anachronism going on, I would still support John Kennedy, even though, you know, he would fuck anything with a pulse.
Yeah, but being a good old boy doesn't disqualify you from being able to lead people. Just like every person, like when I was younger, everybody drank excessive amounts of scotch or vodka or something, but they all went to work. You know, my grandparents' generation, they were drunks. They always had a drink. It would be noon, and my grandpa's like, "I need a scotch." But
Well,
he got.
you know, that's,
I like
my
your grandpa.
father. My father was a World War II veteran, and yeah, most of the people who had lived through World War II, being a functioning alcoholic is what we'd call it now. But yeah, they needed something to just not think about things they saw so they could function on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think on the left, we've become a little bit too like judgmental and myopic, but also in the same sense, like I've done a lot of stuff that people would judge me being be like, "Oh, he's old dirty William." He's a real life old dirty bastard, you know. And to me, it's like a Tuesday. It's like it's nothing.
Know
You
the
know?
shit I've done.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're telling me.
So how do you legislate morality? You know, if it was up to me, every Tuesday we should all have to wear leather and wear a BDSM outfit every Tuesday. All of us.
Wait, we don't already do that? Oh, never mind.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, one of my daughters found out on her own that she didn't want to know too much about me.
Whoops.
Oh, it just bothers me of how much we try to like what we're turning into. We used to be cool for that 1 week in 1991. We were cool, man.
There you go.
Oh.
1991, yeah.
Okay, that seems a pretty arbitrary choice of a year, but okay. I can't even quite think about where I was living at that point.
No, because I always try to think like, when did we ever have like? See, it's different in America because we are sheltered by the ocean, and the rest of the world could be on fire, and we're bitching about how our internet doesn't work. You know, we're landlocked and we're sheltered here. Not like in Europe when a war starts, it affects everybody, you know?
Yeah, well, and I think about that stuff on almost a daily basis. I'm very aware that even while I'm what in the US is considered living below the poverty level, there's still an awful lot of shit I can take for granted, like having a refrigerator full of food.
Yeah, for
Exactly.
the being, we've got it good. We really do. And I think a lot of Americans don't realize how good they have it.
No, most don't understand how privileged we actually are. It's sickening to see people, all the Karens over here crying about not getting their latte in 2 minutes or whatever, and yelling at a manager and then throwing stuff. It's like, in another country, you wouldn't even be able to get a latte. So don't cry about it taking 10 minutes to get it.
Yeah.
Or have paved streets to get there.
Yeah, well, like I was saying,
Latte get you.
Yeah, that's living in a society. We've got the paved streets. The snowplow went by, cleared off all the snow from yesterday's storm, so I can get to the grocery store, which is all stocked up with, anything I could think of that I'd want to eat. And we take all that for granted, that we have just this huge network that is our society that just lets us just assume that the bounty will always be there.
Well, I'll open my big fat mouth and say, all of you kids, most of you take your health for granted. I got news for you.
I'm unhealthy and I take my health for granted all the time. Like I look at myself and I'm like, you need to slow down.
Oh my. What the heck are you working on over there, Will? It looks like
Good one, Micro.
Is that a Zen flag or something? What's going on here?
No, it's a Mayan calendar. I'm taking all my old scraps and doing something with them. First, this is an old Mayan calendar that I took off a shirt, but I made a punk out of scraps yesterday. Hold on, let me grab it.
The hell
Watch out, dude.
Oh, is that okay, Isaiah, cool it.
But this is all separate pieces, and I made this out of scrap.
Hey,
So
Groovy.
damn, that looks like 1966.
I'm gonna make a giant back piece with this. So
That's beautiful, and it's an art form that's lost. It's very much like the scrap quilting.
That's fucking badass.
So and I got this. I got this sewing machine for $8. And I went and got the pedal foot, and it's like a $300 machine. So I'm like geeking out on this machine right now because, in my thrifting, I scored something that people, one of the things is when people don't know what they have, they put a low price on it.
Yeah.
And so
Okay, Ox is asking if that was Mayan or Aztec.
This is Aztec.
Oh, okay then. The first thing I was reminded of was Tibetan.
Where I live, because of our proximity to Mexico, everything is there's a lot of Aztec and Mayan stuff around here. A ton, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
A ton. This in I do actually have a real job, and in my job, we help distribute clothes to homeless people. It's like one of the things we do at my shop, and like, there's nothing more Southern California than a Mayan T-shirt, or an Aztec T-shirt, or like Mother Mary praying with Aztec warriors next to her.
Yeah, I have to admit that I would not be able to tell you the difference between Mayan and Aztec.
The only reason I know is because I've been to Mexico a million times. That's the only reason I know. I can tell the difference.
Question:
Did you live there for a while?
I did, but I would not recommend. Like, I lived in Sinaloa, but I have family that lives in Sinaloa.
Okay, Doc had a question.
Could a rectal endoscopy be considered Aztec?
Well, I call that a Tuesday night. It's my hi-hat.
Damn it, you beat me to it. I was gonna say I'm an Aztec, but that's a whole different thing.
No, I like, recycling, reusing is literally part of what I do. It's part of my life. So I'm scrap quilting, and
Well,
oh, sorry,
Isn't,
go ahead.
isn't, isn't that kind of the culture in California? There's a lot of hippies there, and so a lot of us figured out how to like cut our patches out and remake a vest, or a lot of the punk kids did that.
I learned
remade their
from
vest, and you had 5 pairs of pants that were all ripped up, and you made 1 pair of pants out of them.
That's exactly who I learned from when I was younger. Were gutter punks and the hippies, and it's really weird because they were. Some of them have passed. Some of the people I know have passed away, but they're in their 80s or 90s now, and they're still smoking pot. I know someone who still wears a vest, and he's in his 70s.
Okay, then.
Oh, I would believe it. I would believe it for
No,
sure.
oh, it's awesome. I
Be
also
careful when you
ride
talk
with
about
some.
age.
Yeah, it's all in your head,
Who's doing what to my head? Oh, never mind. Sorry.
But yeah, I'm making huge back patches because I was gonna turn this into something, but then I'm like, it's one of those things, it starts off as one thing and it morphs into something else.
There you go.
I love creating new stuff though.
Well,
Me too. It's amazing to do that.
When you talk about the recycle and reuse, I mean, I was kind of raised by someone who raised 4 kids during the depression of the 20s and 30s. And yeah, I learned how to reuse. I learned how to recycle. It's amazing what you can learn when you have to.
Oh yeah,
well, that's the same for me. That my parents grew up in the Depression. My dad was a carpenter, so yeah, he made a decent wage. He certainly was never going to get rich, but there were also always like 12 to 15 people living in the house, and yeah, he was always worried about just making sure there was enough food around.
Yeah,
how many of us were dumpster divers? I know I was for a couple of years, and I got.
I've talked about that a few times.
Some of the greatest memories of my father is going dumpster diving with my brothers and sisters when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Even now, and it's one of the things about our society that really pisses me off is like, even when they're talking about the waste problem and they say, reduce, reuse, recycle, why does the word repair never get in there? Why is there never a concept of fixing something instead of replacing it?
That is quite literally what I do.
Well, and what really sucks nowadays is it's so illegal to go dumpster diving or to like go and find stuff.
Yeah.
That's because we've become insane with the ideal of private property where we're willing to shoot humans over a trash can. I want people to really think.
It has more to do with people getting sued for liability. That's why grocery stores lock up their dumpsters at night.
Yeah, I get that partially, but yeah.
You know what? My brother would hold on to my legs, and it literally hold me over a dumpster, and no one died. I live to tell the story,
But it's amazing. My Bobcat would talk about it. I mean, I came in at the very tail end of it, but the Pepet X man was a thing years ago. Now, Pepet X is in a very thick European accent, paper rags. The guy would go up and down the street collecting your stuff. And that was the whole recycle thing and it did get recycled. And it was part of everyday life.
They were called the rag and bone men.
Yeah.
So I have a really uncomfortable question for you, Purple. Do they really call people Sanford and Son up where you live who collect scraps?
No, actually, I haven't heard anybody use that.
Because that's like if someone was to call me Fred Sanford, I would say thank you. He was like, I used to watch that show as a kid. He was like my hero. I try not to live like him, but I do.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And I'm slowly turning into him as the older I get.
What Skitz is saying here, that we leave surplus food and clothes next to the dumpster for local divers. And back when I was doing it, I was getting the produce they were throwing out at the co-op from their dumpster, and one of the employees realized it and started putting a separate box on the side, and they got fired for it.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Because they put a box of the produce that was just a bit bruised out for the homeless people.
Gods.
Starbucks recycles food here now because we passed a law where you can't necessarily just chuck your food in the trash. So now there's businesses that go around to like Starbucks, all the grocery stores, and get all the old food.
Well, I think that's what the homeless collectives do here is they take all the old food from the different places, markets and stuff, and then they give it out to the homeless.
Yeah.
Hey, honey, were you talking about this previously or what? I wonder, though, what that's going to do to the manager's specials. Where you could get something that was a day old or maybe a little bit bruised for, a reasonable price rather than what they're charging for groceries now.
I had actually not seen that kind of thing for quite a few years. But one of the things that I picked up just a couple of days ago when I went shopping here was that they actually had one freezer case that was like from the meat cutters of stuff that was like a day old or something, or had sat in the case a day too long. So like I just picked up a pack of pork chops for half price because they had been sitting there a bit too long.
We have that here.
My ex used to shop the manager specials quite a bit, and it's a knack I've never been able to pick up. But she used to get all kinds of wonderful deals. We used to eat lamb quite a bit because she'd find it on manager special for like half price, and
exactly.
That price was still pricey, but it was fairly decent.
Yeah, I had a couple friends that knew exactly what days certain things like went off market or got discounted, and they would take us around to the whole town and go, okay, this meat gets discounted here at this time, and this sandwich and this and she would just go around and just like get everything for us to make a meal. And it was usually like a stew that she would make. So she would just get like all the carrots and all all the fixings, and we would go over to the house and she would just make us this big stew that she would cook for a couple hours, and then we would just, all the homeless kids would pretty much just eat, all the punk kids, we would just go eat, we would all put in, we all went with her and we all like made sure that we put in our time, but she made this huge stew and we would just sit there and eat it all day and get some cheap beer, and you just sit down and drink some beer and have this wonderful stew that we got for free technically.
It sounds damn good. It sounds wonderful.
Well, again, that's the way my father used to shop. That he would talk up all the department managers at all the grocery stores. So he knew what days they were doing what, and he talked up all the produce managers. So it's like any of the stuff that they felt was just a little off and people weren't going to buy, he'd buy that.
At my grocery store, we have a clearance aisle where it's all the reduced meat, because Isaiah is obsessed with turkey legs, and they go bad fast.
I had a friend who knew some butchers, and they would buy all the off stuff that they didn't want to really sell, like knees and stuff like that, and then he would take that and make it into something or make dishes out of the stuff that the customers didn't want, but we knew how to make into food.
Oh, I get all kinds of hard time from my co-host, dear Kate, I love you, but I learned how to eat from Babka, who would go to the butchers and get the stuff like the brains and like the liver was cheap then, and all the other what's it called? Offal? The organ meats and shit like that, and the bones he used to get for free. You have to pay $5 a pound for bones now to make.
I think we've had this conversation, but I love menudo, which has tripas, which is tripe. I love cow tongue. I love all that stuff.
Tongue is so good. I love tripe. I can't do. I've tried to eat tripe and I just can't. But I love tongue. I love kidneys. I wish I could have one. Somebody want to, bring one out to me. I love liver.
No tongue. I'm not eating food that can taste me back.
No.
Oh, there's a grocery store.
Heart is delicious.
Oh, absolutely. There's a grocery store called Vallarta by my house, and you can get a huge Gene Simmons size cow tongue.
How much do you want for it?
It depends on the time of year, but let me look it up. I don't want to misquote it.
What disappoints me is up here, they want maybe $7 a pound for tongue.
That sounds about right, though. That sounds probably like the market price because we pay high prices for everything here in California.
Okay.
So I guarantee you're paying less than I am.
The meat market managers. The meat market managers at the grocery store are always under pressure to increase profitability. There was a time when beef bones were free.
Right.
That if you wanted something, you'd come in and ask the butcher, do you have any bones? And they'll go, yeah, well, go get some, and brings them out and give them to you. Yeah. Now they charge for them.
Yeah, it wasn't even that long ago.
Those pork chops, somebody just said they get. In the past, those would have been ground up for ground pork. And they're old pork chops, but they're fresh ground pork. So they would do that and remarket it.
Yeah.
They want to make money on every penny that goes through there. They'll sell old fat for people who want to render it and stuff now.
Oh gods, I remember those days. You would render the pork fat into lard, and then the bits of meat that were left in the bottom of the pan, that was called squatki. And you would make a sandwich out of it. You would put it on a thick slice of bread and eat that. And I mean, it was a heart attack on wheels, but damn, it was good.
Yeah, I remember my dad saving the can of bacon grease and using it for other cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. And believe it or not, my babka would even make soap out of the bacon grease. It can be done.
I still save my grease.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Hey,
well, they also used to make candles out of the animal fat. They smelled horrible when you burned them, but before they had electricity.
Oh, I have a good little story to offer for food donations and stuff. The Afghan thing, and they brought all these people over to America, thousands and thousands, and they dispersed them amongst different bases, that could house them. Well, one of them was right up here in our neighborhood, Fort McCoy, and they took in, what did they say? It was like 15,000 people. So suddenly this camp went from quiet, only used part time because it's for National Guard, to 15,000 people. It's got a house, clothe, and feed, and all that stuff. And they bought massive amounts of quantities of food and toiletries and all kinds of stuff. And for these people, because nobody knows how long they're going to be there. Well, they're all gone now. So they weren't there very long, and they had a warehouse full of food. So they gave it away to food banks in the local area. And the food banks are absolutely fat with donations right now.
That's awesome.
Wonderful.
Groovy.
Your tax dollars at work.
Yeah, I haven't gone shopping yet, so I don't know whether I got a largesse this month. I'm guessing that I don't, but I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to go grocery shopping and see if I got the extra food stamps. I'm not looking forward to that drying up. I mean, I have a bit of a balance, but it won't last forever.
I just got the paperwork that I need to go through the recertification review again. Yeah, that's always fun.
I'm guessing that's coming up for me too. I think probably around June or something like that. But it's amazing. You talk about taking shit for granted. I started to take the food stamps for granted. I was eating damned well when I was getting the plague food stamps. I would get almost $200 a month.
Yep.
And that was enough for me to eat and build up a balance.
Well, same here. That Minnesota just decided that through COVID, everybody gets the maximum if they qualified at all.
Yeah, huh?
And it's
Yeah, it was
like-
like that here.
Well, originally, I wouldn't have even applied for it, except that they do it all on one form. So that in order to get medical coverage, I was automatically signed up for the food stamps.
Okay.
Otherwise,
okay.
I'm so close to the line that I wouldn't have even bothered because they only would give me like $12 a month.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah, they cut mine to the regular food stamps. They cut mine from 50 to 25. So I guess there had to be some plague in there somewhere.
Skin Scratcher just said food is so darn expensive, and it's arbitrary too here. 1 week, like I eat mozzarella sticks, okay? 1 week they were $22. The next they're $12. The next they're $25.
God, for how much?
For like 50, something like that, and they're good size. I go to a grocery store it's like wannabe restaurant, so you get large portions when you buy stuff, but
Okay, then.
but it's pricey. It's really
A lot
everything-
of stuff prices have bounced wildly just because of, momentary interruptions in the supply network.
Yeah, around here it's availability that's suffering. Last week I went to this Walmart for whatever reason, and there was no chicken to be found. None. Zero. Zilch. It was all gone. And then it's back now, but that whole availability thing has really got things fucked up.
I got a question.
I have all the answers.
Why is it that well, let's take the chicken. We're out of chicken. Why should the price go up? If there isn't any to be had, what is having a higher price going to do about it?
because they want to make supply and demand. They want to make money off of us because we're saps, and they know
Right,
that we'll pay
right.
for
So
it.
in other words, they're not raising it for anything to do with supply and demand. They're raising it because there's a sense of supply and demand, and they can just rape us for whatever they want.
Yes.
Yep.
Inflation is not real. Inflation is what the businesses decide to do to us.
To a large
Yeah.
extent, you're correct. Yes.
Yes. That's
Well,
why
and that's something that they're showing that, through COVID, while the businesses complained about the lack of workers and all this, the corporations still made record profits.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
The corporations didn't suffer at all. They just screwed their customers a little harder.
how's Amazon? How much money did Amazon make? How much money has Amazon made off of me just in the past 2 years?
A gazillion dollars.
Especially, Amazon and DoorDash and those delivery services are the ones who cashed in big time because nobody was going out.
Exactly. And I've become, what's so funny? Pre-COVID, I was kind of anti-Amazon. Believe it or not, I had never bought a patch on Amazon because it wasn't authentic to me. Because part of my fun of finding patches was going to these stores. I drove to Temecula one time for a Slayer patch. And from LA, that's far. It's really, really far. And now I can just sit on my duff and order it. So Amazon has made a ton of money off of me
Yeah. Now,
because
see,
of COVID.
I use Amazon because for a lot of things I feel I have to, especially now that I'm living in a smaller city. But, I really don't like ordering stuff online. I want to see the actual product.
I don't
Because
blame
I've
you.
also too often had that what arrives at your door only has a vague resemblance to what was described on the website.
Yeah.
Doc was there the day
I
I
just
got
don't
my,
trust him if I can't handle it before I actually pay for it.
that's like my conceal and carry vest. I got that thing and it's barely below my belt line. Doc was there.
Yep. It's a lovely vest.
I still wear it, but I want
Microraptor.
Yes, if I stop buying sex toys, the industry crumbles.
I actually did I did a segment in one of my videos of kind of like buyer beware on Amazon, and I showed some of my misses.
Are
This-
you aware how many jobs hinge on your perversion?
There you
this
go.
I thought was
A
going to
lot.
be a full
A
size
lot.
mat.
Hey, there you go. Look at that.
It's not a perversion. It's personal taste.
I ordered this on Amazon thinking it was going to be a full size mat. It's not.
Dude.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta really watch the measurements. I've seen a whole bunch of, like YouTube videos that they take things like that, and a lot of it's crap. Like people think that they're, buying furniture and it's like a child size or sometimes even Barbie furniture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
dollhouse.
Oh
size.
yeah. Oh, so Mark Caesar says, "Welcome to the real world." I know, and Jinsu says, "Amazon now." Yes, they do. If in my videos, I literally every time I say Amazon, I say Lord Amazon.
They are finishing up a distribution center very near my dialysis center, and every time I go past the damn thing to get the dialysis, I have to curse at them.
I want to know why every time they build a new warehouse facility, your delivery times don't get any better.
Okay, I was about to say the opposite. So
they don't treat the employees any better either.
where's my? Oh no. So my my ex-wife's husband, who is my friend, works at Amazon, and they work him to the bone. They work him so and his I shouldn't be giving away secrets, but like the AC doesn't always work in his truck. So he'll, it gets to be 100 and we had a week where it was 108 here in California. And he's driving around in an Amazon truck with no air conditioner.
Well, and May just saying, of course, read the description carefully. Reading the reviews doesn't necessarily help because they've got too many ways to, scam and slant that they pay people off to write good reviews of products that suck.
There's review bots. They do it automatically.
There are so many Karens out there that you got to wonder how many of the bad reviews are actually bad, real problems.
Now that I'm looking at my orders, like my mini sewing machine came the next day. Isaiah wanted an Arizona flag that came the next day. My webcam came the next day. Those crappy lapel microphones that don't work, those came the next day. So I live in LA. There's a distribution center north and south of me. So it's cheating. But I live in a high population area.
I had to wait 6 or 7 weeks for a webcam that I ordered a little while back, and that was because it came from China.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Irish. How you doing?
I stopped ordering. Hey, Irish Swede. I stopped ordering from. It's so sad. Ever since Brexit, I stopped ordering from the UK. I used to order these really sick back patches from this guy, and he sent me an email. He's like, I can't afford to send them to you anymore. To give them to you at a good price. So he kind of went out of business.
Yeah.
And it's sad. I ordered hundreds of patches from this guy, and he's just some awesome guy in the UK with making these in his garage. So it's sad.
People aren't willing to pay for the time it takes for people to hand make things.
Absolutely.
Well, what May just saying as far as reading the 1 to 3 star reviews, when I'm buying something on Amazon, that's the first thing I go to is I look at the lowest ranking reviews first, because, this goes into what Diana was saying, that you have to read the low ranking reviews and see, did this person have a reasonable expectation of the product before they wrote the review?
Right. And so many have a very high expectation, more than any rational person would admit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I actually saw a review of a Lego set that the person complained it took too long to assemble.
What the hell?
You have completely missed the point of this toy.
Yeah,
It's time to find a new habit. I have become an Amazon junkie in the past 2 years. It's sad.
Unfortunately, I have as well, and I really don't like it. But I've purchased through Amazon things I couldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For example, this little laptop cable here that I'm eventually going to have to put in a damn laptop. I've been eventually having to do this for the last 4 months.
Well, and there are some places that you feel kind of sandwiched in because so many corporations are horrible. So it's like when it comes between Hobby Lobby and Walmart and Amazon, I'm kind of happy that Sloth Girl buys craft supplies from Amazon.
So I had this
Of the
conversation.
three, they're probably the least scummy.
So the other night, I was Isaiah. You know, he's 12 and he's impressionable and he watches all these things online. And he is. The other day I was making hot chocolate. I'm obsessed with hot chocolate, and he runs over and he's like, "Is that Nestle? It's slave chocolate." And I sat him down at the kitchen table and I handed him my phone and I was like, "Find me a corporation in America that isn't owned or a subsidiary of Nestle." And he couldn't.
Yeah,
So
that's the problem.
Nestle owns everything. So if you're anti-Nestle, you better plant your own food because you're gonna starve.
Pretty
You know?
much.
They
it
own
really
everything.
it angers me the way business went, say in the Reagan era, where it wasn't producing things, it was buying other businesses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And unfortunately, Nestle Corp owns anything you could think of besides Starbucks, you know, that I could find. It's sad, but like, you know.
Hello.
Yeah, mate, you've got a point
Hey,
there.
Microraptor.
Every time I go past that place they're building, I wonder if the construction standards were revised after that building collapse. And I have to, probably not. They're going to kill some people out here too. In case anybody wonders, out here means Pittsburgh.
How are you, Microraptor?
I'm good. And
Hi,
how are you?
Micro.
Hello.
Hello. How about you?
So where you live, do you have corporations that own all the food or grocery stores like in America?
I don't know exactly I don't know that much about it. So, but we have different chains of grocery stores and stuff. But they might be owned by companies. Yeah. So I don't know if there's like companies that own other companies, how common that is. But I don't think it's as bad in US.
I don't think it's as
in the
bad
US,
there as it is
if you follow
here.
the links, you'll find
Yeah,
that.
I don't think so.
In the US, if you follow the links, you'll find that just about everything's going to come back to one of about a dozen companies.
Exactly. Like what we used to call Edison, General Electric. Try to find something that General Electric doesn't own.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They own everything. Because again, it's a subsidiary that thereof, and it just it trickles down.
Well, and that's, I can't say I do my research on every company because there's just so damn many of them. But wherever I can, I do like to try and shop more at things that are, local or regional things that are less corporate.
Well, one thing I want to do, I still can do transgendered chef. I want to get around to the farmers markets here and kind of talk them up. And hopefully I'd, be able to find some decent pricing too while I'm at it. And then maybe these folks can get a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit of a trade.
Plug, a little promotion.
Yeah. And then hopefully too, I can get a little bit of a break, instead of paying store prices.
I do that with the thrift stores I go to. I promote them. Ventura, California. Come on down to Main Street in Ventura. It's no secret where I get my sewing machines. I tell everybody because I want there to be more business in that area.
When I was living in Syracuse, New York, they had introduced a great program with the farmers markets that they would have an exchange booth there. That they'd take the food stamps And for every $2 in food stamps, they'd give you like $3 worth of tokens to use at the farmer's market.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yay.
We have a ton of those here. That's one thing I have been doing with all my thrifting. I drive past when I go to Ventura, I drive past all these stands. And one day I just started pulling over and buying fresh corn, fresh avocados. And it's cheaper when you buy it straight from the farmer.
Yeah, yep.
It's 10 times cheaper, you know?
Yeah. Well, the big thing you see around here, in the summer is you see the corn stands everywhere. They'll have corn and they'll have a couple of other things with them, tomatoes and such that they grow.
Well, that was the nice thing last year. I was able to eat pretty well because I could pay, say, 15 or 18 cents an ear for corn at the local Walmart even.
Yeah, I saw them come down before for $1 last summer.
18 cents?
Say again, honey?
I saw them come down to about $4 for $1.
Yes, 18 cents an ear.
Yeah. Wow, that's fucking awesome.
I don't know what it's going to be this year. But, it's going to be difficult to eat.
I mean, I could sell that as butt plugs still. I mean, never mind. Sorry.
It's going to be difficult to eat cob corn anymore because it does have so much fluid included.
Yeah.
That I could easily top out my fluid allowance for a day. You can drink a gallon of whatever every day. You are so lucky. I have to limit myself to about a quart.
Where you live, do you have what's called a boleta, man? Do you have a person with the corn in the cart walking around?
No, unfortunately.
I'm LA. I have to ask that question. In Los Angeles, we have men and women who walk around with carts and corn, and they'll either make it sweet or make it salty for you, and they sell other stuff. Boleta, man, is the greatest thing ever.
They still have those carts?
Yeah, they haven't been able to get rid of them. They tried.
Yeah, I know they did, and I'm glad they're still there because that was a great thing. They get like the sweet corn on the cob or whatever. It was so dank to just like walk up and get them from the carts.
Oh, it's the greatest thing ever.
Turn of the 20th century, it was standard that every town had hundreds and hundreds of polenta type. So that's how they sold vegetables and stuff on a cart, pushing around.
That's the one thing I miss about living. When I lived on Hoover Street, like in the heart of Los Angeles, was just the culture. Because I live in the burbs now, and you'll never get something like that around here.
and Mark, really quick, it's called flavoring, so it's not hard to sell it afterward. It just matters on whose butt you put it up first, and then you sell it. It's called spice.
And I've said this a million times. People who are into butt stuff are the cleanest human beings you've ever met in your life.
Yeah, no, totally. Of course they are. Yeah.
Sorry, no one's gonna want to mess with a smelly person. So,
and I'm still not convinced.
You talk about the carts. That was the really interesting thing. I'm told. I don't remember it, but even in my early years, say I'm 2-3 years old, you would still have a horse cart going around the streets of Cleveland selling beer, from the brewery.
Oh, we have what's called ghetto dogs here, where people sell bacon wrapped hot dogs on the street.
Oh, that's
just talking about it makes me want to have one. But the city went to war with the vendors.
One of the things I remember growing up is we had a guy that would walk around that had a couple of grindstones on a cart. And he'd just walk through the neighborhood and sharpen everybody's knives and scissors.
And axes. Yeah. They would sharpen stuff, yeah.
I always liked our little ice cream cart pusher.
Okay.
Had this freezer box on a bicycle wheel and would drag it around, and you get your ice creams out of that. And then they went to those noisy, annoying old mail trucks.
My favorite was the guy who brought around the cart and said, "Bring out your dead." Oh, sorry.
I'm not dead yet.
That was something else.
I'm feeling better.
I think I'm going for a walk.
Slim, now those were the good old days, Slim. Those were the good old days.
Slim, they had a rotating schedule. One day they'd go down a block and collect bodies, and then the next block over they'd be selling them, and then a day later they'd switch.
Yeah, exactly.
Were they were there no grocery? Are there no grocery stores around? Do you have to? Oh, I need tomatoes. Where's the tomato guy? I need this. And where's that guy? I'm like,
It depends on where you live. Like, sadly, in the inner city in Los Angeles, they don't have grocery stores. So they have to have bodegas. They have to, like, they just now, well, when I say just now, like in the past 20 years, they just started putting in grocery stores. Like in Compton in Los Angeles, it was a big deal when they got a Target. And in my head, I'm like, they've never had a Target, but no, they'd never had a Target in the hood before.
And no real grocery store.
Nope.
It's crazy. Here in the U.S., we even have a term for that. It's called food desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where the shit neighborhoods, you don't get the stores coming in, and people can't get food reasonably well.
Or you get one store, like, and it's so sad. People talk trash about corporations, but Food for Less will go into any neighborhood. They will go anywhere. So I appreciate a corporation like that, but that's pretty much the only grocery store I can think of that's willing to go to a neighborhood like that. I'm trying to think, because when I lived in LA, like, I was so shocked because I'm used to growing up next to a Safeway or a Vons or something literally within walking distance, and it's not like that in LA at all. Oh, now I'm craving Thai food. I'm craving a boleta. I'm craving all kinds of crazy stuff.
I'm just kind of ready for some food in general. I just, I don't get up too much before I start these streams. I didn't have time to really eat much.
This was the first time I didn't have my usual, I didn't get all hyped up before the stream because I was still in bed when he sent me that message.
I was just confused.
Mark Nieser has a point. The commercial system preserves food a lot better. It does, with all the chemicals and all that shit. You get food from a farmer's market. You've got to get what you can use quickly. But still, as long as I can get around, I like the farmer's market thing, especially when I used to have a motor vehicle.
There is a trade-off for that too, though, that a lot of the stuff you get from the farmer's market really is more flavorful because the stuff that they do, the commercial growers, they've modified the varieties to have a longer shelf life, and it's like strawberries. Buying strawberries at the grocery store now is really pointless. For years, they've had really no flavor at all.
Right.
Because they get the ones that get to look big and red, so they look good on the shelves, but they never have any flavor.
I recently discovered that's the case also with apples. The apples you get now could be a year old.
What?
Really? I didn't know they last that long.
According to this guy, it was a chemistry channel where he was making the preservative that they use on the apples to keep them from getting ripe.
The reason I cringe is because I obsessively eat apples. I love apples. So you said that,
I dearly love apples.
I'm like, am I eating year-old apples?
Well, unfortunately, from running out of teeth, I can't do any of the hard fruits anymore.
I'm halfway there. That's why I eat apples and things while I can.
I still have to bake that damn apple pie that I haven't baked for the last I don't know how long.
We're talking about eating out ripe assholes? Oh, no, sorry, apples. That's different. Never mind.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Slim.
That's not possible.
Yeah.
So deep.
That was a big problem I had, when I was living in Michigan in that small town, was that it took a couple extra days for everything to get to the stores because of the distribution network. So the produce selection, the variety was pretty much non-existent. You can only get basic things, and the quality of it was so bad. Yeah, and half of the stuff was rotten within 2 days of buying it.
James Harding. There's Hardin's James. There and in LA, there's 10 million people just in LA County. So let's say that you don't have a grocery store in 2 neighborhoods. That's 2 or 3 million people that are not that don't have access to fresh food.
Yeah.
So our numbers are unreal here. We have, we do. We like in my town, I could just right where I live, I could get in my car within 2 minutes. There's a Walmart, there's a Target, and a grocery store. But if I was to go over the hill into the other neighborhood, there's no grocery store, there's Target,
nothing.
no Walmart.
Yeah, nothing.
They have to come into my neighborhood to shop.
Oh, okay, Mark. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to do it. Store fresh produce under nitrogen. Yeah. Because with the fruit,
I have heard of that, about them pumping the warehouses full of nitrogen to get the produce to stay longer.
So you have to wear a spacesuit when you go in there to work, don't you?
Well, you need to breathe something.
Yeah, it's way overcrowded here. It's super overcrowded. LA is unreal. That's why I want to move. Like, because I've lived other places. I don't think people realize, like, you can actually live somewhere and, like, not have to see people everywhere you go. I'm really thinking about moving out to the country.
If you want fresh apples, though, you come move to my house. We are called the apple capital of Minnesota, and actually grow most of the apples. I won't say most. A large number of apples that all the rest of you buy from the store to eat.
Mm-hmm.
We can get fresh apples anytime, even in the winter, because they've been stored properly. And any of the interesting cultivars that aren't available most places because they take a long time to spread, like Honeycrisp.
Ooh, those are
they
nice.
were invented here.
I used to love Red Delicious apples, but I hear they've fallen out of favor lately for whatever reason.
Well, Red Delicious are a little bit softer. They don't keep as long in shipping.
Oh, that's awful.
Okay.
But
okay.
yeah,
Honeycrisp
when
are
I was
way-
living in upstate New York there, it's like, are you aware of how many apple varieties are named for places in New York? Right around Syracuse there was just, it was just like apple orchards for pretty much that whole area of the state, and on for like 3 more states beyond that.
Why do you think they call it the Big Apple?
My favorite is eating out Granny's apples, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, if it wasn't for Granny's apples, I wouldn't have a dating life.
Exactly. I mean.
What's interesting about apples, though, is if you're an apple farmer and you've got a grove of what grew Honeycrisp last year, there's no guarantee you're going to get that this year, because apples will crossbreed with anything nearby. And so if your neighbor happens to have something that you don't grow, but they're on the downward or the upward side of the wind, they could blow all their pollen right to you, and now you've got some stray apples that you have no idea what it was.
Yeah, they will cross-pollinate very easily.
I thought that didn't matter because, you were eating the fruit. You weren't dealing with the seeds, no?
So what if I plant an apple seed and a pot seed together? Am I
The
going to
pollen is
invent
producing
something?
before the fruit is.
Wait, I can make a cherry apple.
This reminds me of tobacco. When Homer Simpson invented
there you go.
tobacco and a tomato. So
No, they can only be crossbred with another apple species.
Well, wait a minute. Tomato and tobacco are not that far apart in being relatives, are they?
Don't know.
the Simpsons have predicted so much stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, that's what I thought was the case, Mage. Yeah, cross-pollinating didn't matter unless you try to grow the seeds, which is why you really can't get avocados from the pits of the avocado you bought at the store, because the fruit from these new seeds could be anything pretty much.
See, Hardens James gets it. If I invented a pot apple, I would never work again a day in my life. People would just be chomping on those apples, not even know why they can't stop eating them.
Well, see, the problem is that eating the apple would give you the munchies, so you need to eat more.
It's like Sprite.
That is to into onto. Yes, sir.
If you really think about it, like if you're dehydrated, never drink Sprite, because you'll just keep drinking it and drinking it and drinking it, and it's dehydrating you as you're being hydrated.
Well, isn't
what we
that
used
pretty
to do
much
in the
any
old
sugar
days,
drink?
before you could get lots of different paraphernalia like smoking stones and things like that, we would take an apple and bore it out to cigarette size and stick a joint in that and smoke it through the apple. And then the apple would get infiltrated with THC. Then you eat the apple.
Yep.
Yep.
First thing I ever smoked out of was an apple. Fun, great times, good times back in the Stone Age. Horse-drawn carriages, smoking out of apples.
There are actually times I find it difficult to avoid romanticizing the quote old days end quote. Because I look back, and as shit as it was back then, sometimes I do feel that the 60s and the 70s were so much better than the present day.
I feel like that about the 80s and the 90s, to the point where I have to remind myself that it wasn't like the effing happy days. Because I paint this picture like, oh, the 80s was like this and this. It's just, we had excess. We had, my local mall is this cathedral. I was talking to my mom the other day. She's like, when's the last time you've been there? It's been years. I don't go to the mall. She says the entire bottom floor is abandoned. There's no shop.
You're a queer person. The 80s fucking sucked.
I had accepting parents. Like my dad dropped me off with his biker buddies at Pride. So my first Pride, I was 17. I got dropped off by a bunch of scary biker dudes. I had accepting parents.
Yeah, that's good.
So the younger those years were awesome. The 90s too. I romanticize the 90s, and they were some of the most violent times here.
That's what I see. One of the best things about the good old days was the horses. If you get drunk and you try to drive home, you're going to get in an accident. If somebody tied you to the saddle on your horse, the horse would get you home.
Oh, a trail horse. A trail horse knows how to get home better than you do. and a better route, too.
There was a thing I read in Britain that I don't know, I forget now which city it was in. But that they had a horse doing the deliveries to the taverns for so many years that they loaded up the wagon and they just let the horse loose without a driver. And the horse knew all the right places to stop and wait for somebody to unload.
Oh, yeah. Trail horses are smarter than people. And they'll let you know. It's like Lassie. If you see a trail horse wandering, that means someone's hurt or They're smart.
Yeah. I've seen debates with gladiators. They are definitely not as smart as horses.
So Mark Caesar kind of put the nail on the head of being dropped off by a bunch of bikers. No one will talk to you. It's true. It is true.
Yep.
No one messed with me. I'll tell you that. I did get quite a reputation that still sticks to this day. No, I do romanticize the times because times suck right now.
Oh, tell me about it. Yeah.
And so I do look back with nostalgia. And I always say this, though, because my dad always had these crazy quotes. And he would always tell me, man, the 50s were not like the happy days. So I live like that. Like, I try to remind myself it wasn't all rainbows and blowjobs.
Well, I think the most glaring thing about the show Happy Days is that there was only one black kid in all of Milwaukee.
I watched this comedian the other day, and I was
Wait,
telling
no,
him,
just a moment. I have to interject right now. In the part of town that was supposedly about, there was only one black guy in those days. It was one of the richest, whitest suburbs in the county.
That would not have been very far off for Parma, Ohio, either. In my high school, for example, we had 2,800 kids. How many black kids were there?
growing up,
One.
at school assemblies, I could spot all of my relatives because we were the only people of color.
Yeah, well,
I grew
yeah,
up in a white town.
growing up, I only knew one black kid, but we took advantage of it. Because like we'd go to the department store and go shoplifting, and I'd be putting all sorts of things in my jacket, and we'd just kind of walk out the door together, and when the alarm went off, he'd take off full speed across the parking lot, and I'd just walk slowly. And if they managed to grab him, he had nothing. I was carrying everything, and they ignored me.
Oh,
Crazy.
So we learned to take advantage of everyone else's racism.
Yeah,
Oh, those.
Yeah, we did that too.
It was still risky. He could have got in trouble just for his race.
accessory.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
yeah, as teenagers, we weren't really aware of the risk level.
Yeah.
Oh no, when I was a kid, we used to walk up to people and ask them to buy us beer. Like, if some kid walked up to me and asked me to buy me beer, I'd be like, "No, I'm old and prude. Go away." But I had no shame when I was a kid. You don't think like, hey, this person could rip you off or punch you in the face and take your, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, you have to live a bit of life before you realize how many things can go wrong.
Oh, I think back to all the like house parties, all the stupid things I did as a kid, and I look at my kid and I'm like, well, I hope they reinvent something for you because I see through all your bullshit already. But I have a good friend who his kid's almost in college now, and his dad would rob banks and stuff. Like, this guy was like a real like 1970s, 1980s hippie nomad, and he flat out said, he's like, man, they really are inventing stuff I've never heard of. And he's done every drug known to man as well.
It seemed it was rather easy for me raising kids, but I think the big deal was that they knew they could trust me. They were pretty sure they couldn't trust any of the neighbors.
Okay.
So it's like they knew if something happened, if they were in trouble, if they needed help, they knew I was going to be there. And they knew even if they fucked up, I wasn't going to be that hard on them.
I'm the same way. I try to have understanding. Colleen F., I have no idea what this shame concept is. I have no shame whatsoever.
Me either. What is that?
It's fear.
Well, the joke about me is everybody's seen me naked, so I don't know what shame is anymore.
Nobody wants to see me naked.
People think they want to see me naked. You don't want to see me naked. Oh.
Yeah, I just want to mention again to people in the side chat that there seems to be a significant lag time today between StreamYard and YouTube. So, your comments are coming kind of out of sync from the conversation in here.
Well, from what I've seen over the last few days, this is not unusual.
Yeah, just today it seems several seconds. It's longer than usual.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having major internet problems to the point where I almost had to go full Karen on the phone. I had the technician come out, and do you know what solved my problem? Just guess. I was so mad. Unplugging my modem and then plugging it back in.
Yeah, don't you always try that before you call them?
Yes,
I've
always reset your modem.
I've had such problems lately that I've lost my damn mind.
Do you know why? Have you tried dragging it out and in again? Turning it off and on again? Why that's a joke?
It works though. It
Yeah,
does though, Micro. It goes
Remember,
all-
pull it out and stick it back in. It's always just
Yeah.
the solution.
What Mage is saying here too, that sometimes it's like YouTube buffering. So if you're ever in the side chat of a live thing, if YouTube seems buffering or that, just crank the speed up to 1.5 or to 2, and let it run until it catches up with the stream.
That's the botenie.
I used to go to this coffee shop that like 2 to 3 times a day they would automatically shut down their router and restart it just because they were on a PC and they know that it was fucked up all the time.
Okay, then.
Oh, it drives me crazy. I've had such problem with my internet that I'm ready to go back to reading books and being isolated. This isn't driving me crazy.
Is Slim doing the driving video today instead of Jenny?
Yeah, I'm doing the driving video today.
Okay, then.
So we get to see your town here, huh?
Yes, this is downtown Fort Collins.
That's awesome.
That
That looks like Ventura with snow.
It kind of does for sure. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's the way they build it,
Yeah, no, I totally know what you're speaking about. Like the way the buildings are over here and the way the buildings are over there. It's totally like Ventura for sure.
A trip.
Yeah.
That's funny.
They're all small buildings. It's like barely anything is more than 1 story.
Yeah, totally.
But like in America, we have a standard way of building things, and it just trips me out how certain cities look like. But don't most cities have like a like a Target or a TGI Fridays and a Buffalo Wild Wings and a
Well, it's the corporate America thing. You're going to see the same chain stores in every city.
Exactly. So we're not that.
It's almost like the cookie cutter stadiums in the past, where the ball players would complain that if they went to St. Louis or Cincinnati or Pittsburgh or whatever, once they got in the stadium, they didn't know where they were until they saw the other team's uniforms.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
And that it's the buildings are so low, and there is mostly 1-story buildings. Underground, most of it is Slim's sex dungeon.
Yes, exactly.
Alexa, what's the temperature right now?
Right now,
It's 3 degrees Fahrenheit right now for us.
It's 48 degrees here in Southern California.
Fuck you.
Damn you.
Hey, Robert X.
Robert!
Hey, Robert.
Been so
What
cold.
have we got in here?
Slim, is that a
Oh, my
candle
Lord.
on your dashboard?
We will after this.
This?
Okay,
That
for the
was a
weather
penis.
reports, it's
a
1
little
Next
mermaid.
thing over that's got the bit of yellow orange
Oh,
glow.
no, that's eagle.
Oh, okay.
If you need my help, let me know.
Oh yeah, let's see what we got here today. We've got not much wind today. We've got 6 degrees and it only feels like 5 below.
Oh, my balmy.
Someone check Houston, Minnesota.
Alexa, what's the temperature in Houston, Minnesota right now?
right now, in Crookston, Minnesota, it's -3 degrees Fahrenheit.
It said Crookston because Alexa doesn't speak my mumbles. She hasn't quite mastered my accent yet.
Well, I can check here.
Oh, if you're ever bored, go on YouTube and look up Scottish people talking to Alexa.
Yes, that's so much fun. That is awesome.
It is the greatest thing ever.
Creaky Blinder did a great parody one of What If Alexa Was Welsh.
Oh, this one lady was yelling at it.
Jenny, it looks like you're having a heat wave. According to Weather Underground, you're up to 18 degrees today.
Woohoo!
What the hell? There's no God.
Do you know what's funny? Like right now, it's 48 here in Southern California, and people are covered like we live in the Arctic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Dude.
it's like I tell people around here that in January I'll take anything that doesn't have a negative in front of it.
Dude, it's been so cold here. I saw a lawyer with his hand in his own pocket.
Doc, I am stealing that. I love that joke. Thank you. That's
Oh
cool.
no, I heard it
I'm
on
right.
the radio, so I
I'm
stole
right.
it too. So,
Oh, that's
but I'll
awesome.
tell you,
Where are you
another
at,
thing.
Mark?
I'll tell you another thing about the fucking cold. The shrinkage has been ridiculous. I walked up to the ATM the other day. The whole machine uprooted itself and flew at my fucking pelvis from the decompression. Listen, my dick has crawled so deep inside my body cavity that when I become sexually aroused, I get a heart on.
Skizcrasher, you are right. Do you know 2 weeks ago it was like 80 degrees here, or like a week ago? We are spoiled. We are wussies here in Southern California.
Dude, it's been
Hey, where are we
fucking brutal.
looking
It's been dangerous. It's been lethal cold here.
This is what I've been trying
That's
to tell.
crazy.
I've been trying to tell Isaiah, because we take walks every day, and I try to tell him, I'm like, people in America cannot do what we're doing right now. Like the rest of America is in snow, and
Yeah.
we're like walking
Oh,
with our
no,
sweatshirts
that's
on.
you, Microraptor. I thought that was. Sorry about that. I thought Jenny got her camera working again.
What?
Oh yay! You got your
There
camera
we go.
going.
Jenny didn't want to be shown up.
I didn't know why it just decided to start working. I can't explain
Oh,
it.
there you are. There you
Oh,
are.
that is such an American shot. I need to salute.
That is very true.
That is our tractor competition area.
Oh,
It's all it's used for. All year round, it just sits there until the tractor competition comes.
tractor
Well,
pulls
what
are
if you should
awesome.
Use some space.
What happens at a tractor competition? Like any races? Or...
They hook up people's penises to a tractor and they pull. Never mind. No, sorry, that's a different show.
Yeah, a lot of it is that they hook up two tractors facing opposite directions to see which one can drag the other one backward. It's kind of like arm wrestling with heavy machinery.
It's kind of spectacular when the super heavy duty tractors come in and they're trying to, they have this device that drags on the dirt, and the more you drag it, the more resistance it gives you, because it's got these fingers and things that stick out into the dirt and go deeper and deeper the more you pull it. And it gets up to the high end pull of that stuff, and these guys are just trying, and their engine literally blows the cylinder head clean off. It's glorious. It really is pretty cool. I mean, it cost a guy $10,000 when that happened.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a really expensive cool. Oh, tractors are
Most expensive blowjob I've ever heard of.
Tractors are so expensive.
Worth it.
Well, Tim, that's what they mean, that if you're seeing smoke, you got to slow down or use more lube.
Exactly, honey. Been there, done that.
Do you know tractors cost as much as Ferraris?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
had this
farming is
conversation.
expensive. There's a lot of investment and a lot of machinery you need.
You,
yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
you talk about the tractors, though, as far as tractor trailer combinations. Think of all the people going bankrupt in Canada over the last few days. When they
Sure. All those guys that are fucking around with their trucks instead of having income.
Yeah.
And they're getting them taken because of your garbage that they're pulling up.
They were seized, and they're holding them for. So all vehicles that were seized are being held for 7 days, because they got to put the listening devices on them.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Canadian police aren't screwing around, although at the same time, you know, they didn't like go in Gestapo-like or anything. That they gave them a week's warning. You know, they said, you go back home now, everything's fine, we won't bother you.
Yeah.
But for the guys who stuck around, they're coming down on them.
Exactly. And one of
I almost hate to say it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I almost hate to say it, but I'm happy to see the way things are going up there. Take it well.
The problem is that a lot of these guys, they come in and they're okay. So they have their side. Whether you're for or against them, don't wave your Confederate flag. Don't start raving about Jews and blacks and all this crazy stuff. The crazy started showing up, is what happened. Because if you go back and watch the raw footage on YouTube, go back and watch people talking about it. There was a really crazy element that showed up. Because these people, you know.
Yeah. What really got people pissed off was that they were blocking the roads and they weren't letting the trucks that were willing to do their job get through.
And that's another thing. We all have the right to protest. I don't know about it in Canada, but you don't have the right to impede everyday business. So here in LA, you can't necessarily just stand in the street and protest. You can if you have a permit, but even then you gotta have cops have them shut down the road. There's a whole process to it, you know.
Okay, I gotta bounce out for a little minute. I'll probably be back before you all end. So
okay.
Bye-bye, Slimmy.
See you later.
And if not, I have my 500 sub special I'm doing in a couple hours. So hopefully everybody can be there and hang out with us for a minute. Yeah,
Awesome.
Tonight. So
Really?
What time did you plan on starting that?
You're going already?
it's 3 hours.
Okay, 3 hours.
We'll
Okay,
start linking a minute before you end.
3-hour tour.
3:30 my time. So I'll post that in a minute, but I'll be back.
Okay. Well, yeah, everybody check it out later.
Jenny, that is the cruelest thing that you could have done to me. I will be now sit right back in. Now I have that song just stuck in my head. I've seen every episode of Gilligan's Island 1,000 times. I could sing the song but I don't want to.
Okay,
I don't want to get a copyright strike.
Well, just remember that you can sing Amazing Grace to the same tune.
Oh, really?
It fits. Gilligan's Island and Amazing Grace, you can swap the words to either tune. Either one to either tune works.
Oh, that's funny. The Millionaire. I have that song in my head now. I was a sick child and not like in the head, but because of my asthma, I was sick all the time. So I watched a lot of television growing up because I was home all the time. And I watched every rerun known to man at the time. So I love Gilligan's Island.
Well, yeah, again, back in the 70s, before we had cable TV, and we were only getting like 4 channels, that Gilligan's Island was on every day when I got home from school.
Oh, and I love Lucy. I will stand for Lucy all day long.
Yeah, I remember it being Gilligan's Island and Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie that were always on.
I love I Dream of Jeannie too. I've been watching a lot of British shows because I've seen all the American shows, you know. So if anyone needs any advice of any shows to watch, I have a list for you. I go back and watch this stuff because a lot of it's better and it's witty and it's hilarious, but it's better than the stuff that they make nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I don't watch television anymore because I just don't like it. It's banal.
Well, that's why I watch a lot of the old stuff on YouTube because television, I couldn't tell you what's popular nowadays.
Yeah, I don't watch any of the current stuff. I just, go through the streaming services and watch the old stuff that I know is good.
Same. Like, I was excited when they brought Stargate to Netflix. I was like, good, I can now have something on in the background all day long. Oh, I
Okay.
cannot get that song out of my head. That is one of those
You're in
two.
trouble now, Will.
That's like the never ending song. There's a list. There's a whole list. That's another song I won't sing.
The one thing is, well, I can't do it easily because I have nowhere to put a television, and I don't have cable, and my computers are not equipped for television reception. But I don't even know. I wish I could know if Nova was as good as it used to be. I'm tempted to say no. Does anybody watch Nova? The
I
PBS
do.
thing?
I do. It's still good. It's still the same old show. It's because they're not giving you their opinion. They're telling you facts like this. They're presenting something, and this is what we found.
This is what I like. Yes, it is indeed what I like.
And
You
so
could
it's
probably
no,
see that on YouTube.
yeah, I
There's
watch.
all kinds of Nova on YouTube.
Yeah, Diana, I watch all of my television. I watch it on YouTube. I watch most of my stuff on my phone or my computer because one of the only reason I have cable is because I'm one of those knuckle draggers that still watches sports. So that's the only reason I have cable. It's because I went and got the sports package and I have every I can watch anything. But I'm not into basketball anymore like I used to be. But I watch a lot of hockey and baseball.
I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to renew my Major League TV subscription. Have you seen anything lately on whether they are going to have a baseball season?
They
this year?
canceled so far. They canceled spring training, so it might be the 90s. So a lot of people forget. I think it was 94. I could be wrong, but we had a strike, a baseball strike, damn near the entire season.
Yes, I remember.
So it might be 94 all over again.
Yeah, because I remember I subscribed Major League Baseball TV one year, and it was just reruns for the first several months of the damn season. And it was like, oh, come on, I didn't subscribe to an archive channel.
And that's the thing too. When they're like fighting over money, I don't feel sorry for millionaires.
Yeah, I
You know?
know.
Like
Yeah.
for as much as I love baseball, like hockey, these guys still get paid thousands. There's people that get paid millions, but they don't get paid that much. And baseball, football, and basketball, they're getting in 1 year, they're making more money than people will make in their entire lifetime.
Yeah, yep.
And I don't think people understand how much it's like the have and have not. So I don't feel sorry for
Oh,
millionaires.
and on the vein of pay in sports, excuse me, the U.S. Women's Soccer League
Oh, yeah.
has finally resolved their pay inequity case.
Saw that.
So they are getting, I don't remember the figure, but they are getting millions of dollars in back pay.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Oh, my.
Heck.
I don't know. And then, yeah, the way the so-called security issues have been going.
Back and on the move.
There you go.
Sorry, the phone overheated. It was sitting in the sun.
Oh,
Put it in
no.
the snow. Just put it in the snow. That'll help, right?
I did actually.
Okay, then. Now, the way the ballparks have been going, where you can't take a bag that's any larger than one of those sandwich-sized Ziploc bags with you. I'm not a fan of that, and it's like I don't know if I'll be able to go to a baseball game even once we have baseball games going now.
Dodger Stadium's the same way. The cops, like, they don't play.
Well, my understanding is it's the entire country is doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are not joking around. Which I like. In one way, I don't blame them, but then like, I'm from LA. Like, if you don't have to worry about getting blown up by a bomb, you have to get worried about getting beat up by a cholo at the stadium. Like, You know, if you're wearing the wrong colors, it happened again at a Rams game where a 49ers fan got put in the hospital.
It's a bunch of horse crap. That happens here too.
It's so
where,
stupid.
Don't say anything disparaging about the Steelers. You could get killed. I mean,
Yeah.
that has happened to people here.
Honestly,
I remember when they used to have Bat Day that they gave away the miniature wood baseball bats, and
Yes.
when they wised up and discontinued that.
I have one. Do you know we used to call that Broken Window Day? Because you'd walk through the parking lot and be like, these fools handed out bats so some drunken idiot could walk through smashing windows as he was going to his car. And you could almost see where the person was parked, you know?
Yeah, broken windows were a common thing on those.
I still have one. I still have an old Dodger bat.
I'm pretty sure that they stopped doing it because people started suing the sports teams for the broken windows. Or started suing the stadium owners.
Oh, yeah, it's so dangerous here in LA that I won't take my son to a football game. I wouldn't. We've gone to a bunch of hockey games, but he doesn't like the noise, so that stops that right off the bat. But it's not worth it. And plus, in Inglewood and LA, parking starts at $100.
That's shit.
You have to be. So it's the really, really, if basically the thought is if you can afford the ticket, you can afford the $100. Which is true because we have a bunch of really rich people here, but what about everybody else, who can't afford it?
So, what? Do you have to pay that much for an Uber?
Well, the thought is they want you to park at one of our parking rides and take the train in. Because a parking ride is either free or $1 or $2. And then we have metro trains that lead to all the stadiums. I don't think they have a metro. I don't think they have one that goes to the new SoFi Stadium or Crypto or whatever it's called. Oh, no. I'm sorry. The Staples Center is now Crypto Center, which is crypto crap. But I'm
gonna get off. So bye.
It was great seeing you, Micro Raptor.
Yeah,
Great having you, honey.
Bye. Love ya.
Bye.
Love you too. I just don't. I don't know. I'm anti-corporation and crypto is taking over. And Hardin James is right. Everything is pay to play here. Everything. You have to pay for toilets.
Geez, I thought that was all over, but no, huh?
No, LA is insane. And parking wars is real. Like when I lived on Hoover Street, I made the mistake of cursing out a meter maid.
Oh no.
He got me for thousands of dollars. Thousands.
Shit.
Oh yeah. I learned the hard way. They'll put you in jail if they catch you. Yeah, it's bad here. Oh, that's right. We do you guys have to pay for your plastic bags at grocery stores?
More and more,
several stores around here have started to implement that.
Okay, because I thought that was only a California thing, but we have to pay for our grocery bags.
Yeah,
the grocery store I usually go to doesn't do that, but also I have a lot of fabric bags, so I rarely use them anyway.
Yeah,
a problem I have is I actually went and I bought trash cans that were sized to the grocery store plastic bags so that I wouldn't have to buy the plastic bags. But I actually use the fabric bags so much that I run out of plastic bags, so I wind up taking them out of the recycling bin at the grocery store.
Oh, no.
Oh.
So I have to steal the bags that somebody else used, so I have garbage bags.
That's poo-poo.
I'm saving my plastic bags up so I can iron them into and weave a fabric of them and make them into tote bags and stuff.
That's not a bad idea. I always threaten to make a giant parachute because I have so many plastic bags.
Yeah. Soft Girl has done, making doormats out of the plastic bags, weaving them together.
That's not a bad idea. I have
Well,
so
they're
many
good
that
and they don't absorb the water, but still gives you a place to knock the mud and snow off your shoes there.
do they have paper bags where you guys live?
Oh hell, I
Yes.
haven't seen a paper bag in ages.
I haven't either.
Oh.
I like running through my head. I haven't seen a paper bag.
Yeah. I don't use them, but they're still around here.
We got our choice of paper or plastic yet.
Right. Yep. Do you want to kill the forest or clog the landfills?
Yeah, it's
When-
been about 10 or 15 years since I've seen paper bags. Really, it has.
Depending on I always say the cliche. I'm such an old man. When and I'll have enough stuff to carry. They'll ask me, "Do you need a plastic bag?" And I'll say, "I'll save the plastic tree for another day." Some people get it, some people don't.
Yep, I do that.
Now,
Or
I remember the male slimy bastard buying packs of paper bags at the store, for the customers. And I knew all the sizes. You had the grocery size, and you had the size for the fifth of wine, and you had the little ones and the next one. And it was amazing. And I just don't see that shit anymore.
you're right, because they were numbered. Like the lunch bags were number 5 and the grocery bags were number 20. You're right, I forgot about that. Because when I was a kid, we had paper sacks. And so my dad would buy like a bale of them, a huge bale of them, and just we'd make our own lunch.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Paper bags today have gotten horribly weak.
At the grocery stores, you could buy packs of paper lunch bags.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you still can.
Okay, then. Oh, I missed the bot, but I see that Shinju got it.
I have an eye out for those things. I have zero tolerance for trolls, and because YouTube has really cracked down, now it's the troll bot that is the one.
I
that
really
gets through.
appreciate you people playing Bop the Bot because like I was going and I was pulling everybody's links to put in the description, so I wasn't watching the side chat for a while there. I didn't see it come up right away.
I just don't understand. Like the bot, that's a robot, But trolling pisses me off, and I just don't get it. Maybe I'm just old.
Well,
Maybe I'm
yeah,
just old.
I don't really get it either, but apparently for some people, their lives are so boring that starting arguments is the only thing they can do for entertainment.
Hey, I'm one of those people. I admit to trolling answers in Genesis, okay?
See, but that's different. That's
Somebody I follow on Twitter, a trans woman in England, has been battling for 3 days this guy who is absolutely obsessed with people's genitals and bathrooms.
Oh no.
He just can't let it go. And it's like, man, you're sick. You really got an issue.
Oh, G.I. Joe lunchbox. Those were the days. Do you know? Okay, so I truly feel that people that are obsessed with certain issues either want to be that person or they are going to harm said people. Like, I think Posey Parker would stab a trans woman if she was put in a position because she obsesses over it. And one of the biggest cliches is hatred is a pathological descent into violence. So if you sit around and think about something all the time, you're going to react violently. So if you obsess over trans people, you're going to react violently if you're anti trans people. So
Yeah.
I don't get why
Things would be a lot different if the left was the side that was supporting gun rights.
Yeah, they would freak out. People of color supporting gun rights, they would freak out.
I hate the fact that we can't talk about wanting to have one or other politicians or influencers taken care of, shall we say.
Well, see, here's the trade-off. Like, there was this turf called Excelantic, okay? She blew up. Her channel got huge. extremely anti-trans. She recently got taken off of YouTube for threatening and harmful content. So people are doing something about it, just not in a fast way. Because how can someone like Posey Parker, who is literally calling for Americans to get guns and go patrol bathrooms, how is she still allowed to be on YouTube? But I got a copyright strike for talking about fucking sewing machines.
I don't get that. What the hell is that?
Yeah, because enforcing the rules is strictly arbitrary.
And I'm still big mad about that. I got a copyright strike for talking about sewing machines. So, and they could talk about killing people, but
Wait a minute. How they rationalize the copyright strike?
They didn't tell me. I put so much stuff. I ripped so much stuff off the internet. They didn't tell me what segment. So I just redid my video with familiar things that I knew I wasn't getting a copyright strike with, because they'll tell you who the person is, but they won't necessarily tell you what they own.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
I'm surprised at that, because when I've gotten the strikes on my channels, I think it was in an email they sent me that it gives you the timestamp of what they were objecting to.
I was just going to say that because I got one recently. I don't know who got the idea, but they put up about 15 seconds of Olympic curling on, I think it was the Sunday show that we had. And I didn't get a strike, but in my back library, it's blocked worldwide now.
Yeah,
they told me
copyright
exactly
claim.
where it was.
Oh, wow.
But Diana, what's happened with mine is I get that on the copyright claim, and they give me the timestamp.
Yeah,
and I go in and, I edit out like the 10 seconds that image is on the screen, and then they'll let it go public.
So what
I just don't remember whose bright idea it was to put that up there. I think I know whose, Kate. But,
it was they bullied me into basically doing what they said. You have a copyright strike. You can either erase your channel or you can erase this video. And I erased the video. Then they're like, okay, now you have to go to copyright school. I'm not kidding you.
What the fuck?
Yeah, or no, it was something school, and I'm like, are you serious? They made me answer a bunch of questions, about copyrights, and slapped me on my wrist and made me write 100 times I won't do it again. But it was stupid.
They did that to me once.
I haven't gotten that level.
I got a real strike. Against my channel.
Sometimes I got a real strike for a video that had been there for a couple of years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And, I knew it was going to happen because I rip a lot of stuff off the internet because I'm like, well, isn't it, there's that hairy thing of fair use. Like where does fair use start or stop?
Yeah, and YouTube does not understand that concept at all.
I think they do, but the whole idea is, they still don't want to get in trouble somehow or some shit like that. So they will flag you and then let you work it out through the courts where it costs you money,
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing that YouTube keeps doing is that they'll flag people responding to a video, but they don't flag the original video.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
I'm still I thought it was BS because they didn't tell me who it was, but I don't know. It's just dumb. It's just so dumb because it's arbitrary. Like I said, do you know Isaiah watches gun content on YouTube, and all their channels are geared towards children. Every single one of their channels, they're flashing 45s, they're showing AK-47s. Where's the cutoff?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess you get to hear a lot of Tal Fledermaus, huh?
Oh, Isaiah, I'm one of those parents where I watch it just to make sure they're not radicalizing them too much. And I tell them, I'm like, this is BS, right? This guy is hyped up.
What scares me is how many 100,000 kids do the parents never pay attention to which channels they're watching.
I cloned Isaiah's account. I could grab a tablet and tell you what he's watching right now.
Yeah.
I go up in his history. I'm like, oof, we need to have a talk about that.
Well, yeah, I was raising kids in, the 90s and the aughts, and it's like, yeah, the internet hadn't really taken hold to the level it is now. And, that was pretty much before the kids had the cell phone in their pocket.
The one thing I'm grateful for is that he doesn't play his PlayStation that much anymore. That was a problem because people creep out on the PlayStation Network all the time. They would get, how old are you? Where do you live?
Oh, shit, man.
Yeah, just creep. I send
Well, yeah.
I'd send messages back to people like, if I ever see you, I'm gonna hit you with my car.
I like it.
I do not hold back. I do. If you send a creepy message to my kid, I take a screenshot of your name. And if I ever see you, I have a special set of skills.
And your name is Liam.
Damn right. Damn right. Oh. We don't.
I'll find you and I will kill you.
That's a big deal to me. That's a big deal to me. So yeah, he doesn't play there's some real creeps in the PlayStation Network. Real creeps.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
It might do the thing to put into making. Is it might not to say? Oh, here it is. Yes, sir.
But like I was saying with Slim, like one of the reasons I'm glad he doesn't play it too much is, man, GTA Online is really toxic. And other games where before he got his headphones, I'd be walking by and I'm like, who the F is saying that?
It's kind of why I haven't played GTA Online yet.
It's a lot of kids calling each other the N-word.
Oh my.
Or they'll say you sound like the N-word, or and it's people are brave as hell online. Or you'll get some adult in there cursing out little kids. It's toxic.
Yeah, well, Days of Wonder that puts out a lot of board games, and they've got a lot of them like online versions, so you can play on the internet against people. And they used to have the side chat feature for all that. And now there's just a message there that the chat has been temporarily disabled while our technicians deal with an issue. It's not a technical issue at all. Yeah. They shut it down because too many people were getting really abusive when they were playing the games.
The Oculus is like that too. Isaiah has an Oculus, and like if you go to a free show or go to a free concert or something, people are like in the hallway waiting to harass you. It's so strange. The Oculus is so strange. I guess I'm a dinosaur.
Yes, you will.
Well, I'm going to have to check on the girls here. So I was thinking maybe we should wrap this up now. So I got time to do what I need to do, and then we can all get together and go and troll Slim for his special.
There you are. That's a good thing.
When's the special?
It's going to be at 4:30 our time.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately,
over 2 hours from now.
I'll be in bed,
17:30
unfortunately.
my time,
Oakley, Oakley.
huh? Okay, then. Let's get this out of here.
Check to see what video I have. Okay.
I'm currently debating whether or not to buy a pack of cigarettes. Talk me out of it, people.
When's the last time you
You
smoked a
don't
cigarette?
want the cigarettes. You don't want them.
Nothing good can come of it.
Well, I could feel
Somehow.
satisfied.
So because I have respiratory issues, don't do it.
I mean, I hate to sound like I'm proselytizing, but I'll tell you what, I'm really happy I quit smoking. I am. Not just for the the $10 a pack or whatever the hell it is, but oh God, I was killing my throat. I'm surprised I didn't end up with throat cancer, really. And for all I know, I may get it soon enough. I don't know.
Do you know where I live? Cigarettes are like $11.
That's how much they are here too.
Oh, I couldn't do it. I quit when they were well, I smoked pipe tobacco forever, but I told myself when they get over $4.50, I'll quit. I quit when they were like $6.
Yeah, I was going to quit when they hit $1.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
So I claim to be 150, but when I started smoking when I was a kid, cigarettes were $1.50, and those were for Camel non-filters. They were $1.50.
Jesus Christ, you're a kid. Because when I started smoking, I think they were
35 cents.
Yeah,
I was. They were under 50 cents a pack when I started.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. So now you can imagine how I think about the price now.
I remember
American spirits are about $11.
Oof.
Wow. I remember.
And half of that is taxes.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, more than half, I'd say. Really, right?
Oh yeah, if you can buy them on the buy them at the Indian reservations, they'd probably be close to half price because you avoid state
In
taxes.
2017 for the eclipse, I bought some in Kentucky for $4.50 a pack.
Okay. Oh, geez, and I just missed you then. I was in Illinois for the eclipse. Where were you, in Paducah?
Okay, well, let's go around here for the wrap-ups. So, Doc, how about you? You got any last words?
Oh, don't take any wooden nickels. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
Diana,
Well,
you
hey,
were
kid.
talking about maybe changing the schedule on your channel.
I was just about to mention that Kate and I were talking yesterday about switching the Tuesday show to Thursday. So we're going to give it a try. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do a show tomorrow, but next week we will have the Sunday show at the usual time, noon Eastern, and then we'll have the show Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll give that a try and see if that works out better. And I mean, for me, it's still a dialysis day, but I can manage. I can get there, and then maybe we can have a little more to talk about and stuff like that. Because I mean, having Tuesday and then Thursday again, that's kind of hard on the arse of. I'm sorry, the Sunday and then Tuesday. It's hard on the arse of the Sunday show, and maybe we can just find a few more to talk about on Thursday now. And so all of you who do come by, please write it down in your notebooks. We're going to do Thursday at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern. Not tomorrow, but let's see. Let me look at my calendar here. What's the date of the next Thursday? That would be 3 March. We will do that show, and then we'll see how that works. Okay, then. And then it'll be the usual format, just talk about whatever comes to mind and all that stuff. And those of you who would like to come on, I'd like to make the open chat an open chat. So if you'd like to come on to the show, just drop something in the side chat, and as long as you have like a Twitter account, or if you send me your email, I'll send you a link and come on board. We can talk about shit.
Awesome.
What time is that again on Thursday?
Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So for you, it would be 6 p.m., I believe.
Okay, doke.
Yep.
So
I'll try to bother you if I can.
Okay, Jenny. aside from cigarettes, you got anything else you want to say before we go?
No, I would just like to thank everyone for visiting beautiful downtown Houston, Minnesota, where the weather is very nice today. We got 20 degrees on Fahrenheit, and it's bright and sunny. However, we are expecting about 0 degrees tonight, so bundle up, folks.
Yeah. Did you get anything down there from the storm yesterday?
Yeah, you're looking at it. We got about an inch, but it was mostly ice.
Okay, well, yeah, this time we got more than you did then, because we
Yeah,
wound up being under a winter storm warning, and I don't know, I think we probably got 4 or 5 inches.
They closed all the schools around here because the roads are so dangerous when they're icy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've still got to go out and move the car back, because I had to move it last night for plowing, so now I have to put it back where it normally belongs.
And one last thing, all you folks in the chat, please become active politically. We're looking at our life and death here with these idiot Republicans.
Yes,
and
it's
now,
important
as
to
you can
vote.
clearly see, we are now going to suck Putin's dick. So things are changing, and we have to prevent it from happening. This is the time.
It's important to vote, and it's important to pay attention to what things your representatives are voting on.
And really, it's important to have decent people running for office. And as Jenny has said, as many people have said, please consider, if you can, running for something.
And right now, anybody decent is defined as somebody who's not a Nazi.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't care Republican or
I would
Democrat.
have to say that Democrats are marginally better because they're not actively trying to strip away people's personal rights.
Yeah.
Or openly kill you.
Okay, Will.
So with that being said, I am Godless Sewing of the Godless Sewing channel. Don't forget to tip your waitress. And like I always say, reinforce your seams. But before I get into my ramble, I want to have a serious talk really quick. To the 390 people that have watched Edging for Christmas, I love you. Come on down to the Godless Sewing channel, like and subscribe. I got nothing but smiles and hugs. Okay, with that being said, so I am Godless Sewing of the Godless Sewing channel. Are you tired of the same old crap? Do you want to disassociate from life? Do you want to completely take yourself somewhere else? Come on down to the Godless Sewing channel. I talk about nothing but things that I like, and it's non-political. Godless Sewing, have fun.
Edging for Christmas?
Hold on, let me look. 422 people have watched it. We only had like 40 people that watched it. At the most, I had like 42 views, and I'm at 422 right now. I love you. I love all of you. Come on down. People are watching my channel, but they're not liking and subscribing. So I have to say, like and subscribe. I love you all. Thank you for the views. Godless Sewing. My Tiny Tailor video is past 2,000. Every time I make a tiny sewing machine video, I get like 400 or 500 views. Come on down, like and subscribe.
Okay. Well, and with that, I'll be, my usual thing back here tomorrow night at 10 p.m. and next week, Wednesday at noon. And Saturdays at 6 with the shills. That's all Central Time.
Awesome.
Oh, dear. It's okay.
Oh, moo.
Hey, does anybody know where you can get these silicone fake fingers? I'm thinking of starting a learning how to sew channel.
It's okay.
Total beginner, and I would like to, do a gag once in a while of running my finger through and getting it sewn, but I wouldn't actually do it to mine.
That's funny, not funny. I might steal that.
Okay. Well, and with that, I need to thank my Patreon supporters, especially now that my headset is dying. The microphone works. The earpieces have gone. So I've got to be buying a new headset. So I appreciate all the people who have been sending me a few bucks a month so that I've got the money to cover that expense.
Yay.
So that is, of course, Lavender Lady here,
What the hell
and
is
Robert
that?
X and Ox in the side chat, along with Greg Hartwick, Dog, and Jyuni the Apostate, who has done all of my artwork. So thanks a lot, people. I appreciate that I can, just keep going and doing this, and that a little setback of needing some new equipment isn't going to keep me off the air.
That's really nice when that you're at that level. Yeah.
Okay, so with that, good night all, and yeah, we'll see you all back in about 2 hours on Slim's channel.
Awesome.
Did you put up the